Most people believe their year will be decided in January. New goals, new routines, new motivation. But 2026 will not be destroyed in January. It's being shaped right now. Quietly, gradually, silently. Not by dramatic failures, not by big mistakes, but by small habits that don't look dangerous, habits that feel normal, productive even. And that's exactly why they're powerful. Because what ruins a year is rarely intensity, it's direction. A tiny shift repeated daily doesn't feel important until 12 months pass and you realize you didn't end up where you thought you would. Let's talk about the 5 silent habits that are quietly destroying your 2026 before it even begins. Starting the day reactively. The first habit begins within minutes of waking up. You open your phone, notifications, messages, news, social media. It feels harmless. It feels quick. But neurologically, something important just happened. You told your brain, "My priorities are external." Instead of choosing your direction, you reacted to someone else's. Instead of creating focus, you fragmented it. When your morning begins in reaction mode, your nervous system stays there. You don't feel in control. You feel behind. And when you feel behind, you rush. When you rush, you make shallow decisions. Repeat that pattern daily. And by the end of 2026, you won't say, "I had no goals." You'll say, "I don't know where the year went," because you trained yourself to respond instead of lead. Micro delays. This one is subtle. "I'll start in 5 minutes. I'll do it later. I'm not in the right mood." Each delay feels small, insignificant. But your brain doesn't measure size. It measures patterns. Every time you delay a task, you reinforce a belief. Discomfort is optional, and the brain loves avoiding discomfort. So next time, the resistance grows slightly stronger, then slightly stronger again. Until starting feels heavy, even simple tasks begin to feel intimidating. And by 2026, you won't lack ambition. You'll lack momentum. Momentum isn't built in grand resolutions. It's built when you start before you feel ready. On ordinary days, when no one is watching. Consuming more than you create. This habit is praised by society. You watch educational videos, listen to podcasts, save productivity posts, buy courses. It feels like progress, and in small doses, it is. But here's the danger. Your brain releases dopamine when it encounters new information. That dopamine feels like achievement. But it isn't. Learning without implementation creates a false sense of advancement. You feel productive. But nothing changes. Over time, your brain becomes addicted to insight instead of execution. Insight is safe. Execution is risky. Insight is comfortable. Execution requires effort, so your identity shifts. From I build to I learn about building, and that shift is almost invisible, until a year passes and your bookmarks grew, but your results didn't. Keeping vague goals. I want to improve. I want to be more disciplined. I want to do better this year. These statements sound positive, but your brain cannot execute vagueness. Clarity reduces friction. Ambiguity increases hesitation. When a goal is unclear, your brain postpones action because it cannot define the first move. And without a clear first move, there is no beginning. So you stay in preparation mode, planning, thinking, adjusting, but not moving. Multiply that by months. And 2026 becomes another year of intention without transformation. Not because you lacked ability, but because you lacked precision. Normalizing low standards. This habit feels comfortable. You wake up slightly later than planned. You quit slightly earlier than you could. You accept slightly less than you deserve. Nothing dramatic. Just small compromises. But standards compound. If your baseline is low, your output will match it. The brain adapts quickly. What once felt like underperforming soon feels normal, and what feels normal becomes your identity. You stop noticing the gap until one day you compare yourself to who you could have been. And the difference feels heavy, not because of one big mistake, but because of hundreds of small allowances. Here's the uncomfortable truth. None of these habits will ruin your week. They won't create immediate collapse. They create drift, and drift is silent. You don't feel drift today. You feel it after a year. By the time most people realize it, they think they need more motivation. They don't. They need interruption, awareness, a deliberate shift in direction. Because what destroys years is not lack of ambition. It's unconscious repetition. If you fix even one of these habits now, your trajectory changes immediately. Not dramatically, but meaningfully. And meaning compounds. Early corrections are powerful. Late corrections are expensive. 2026 will not be built in one intense month. It will be built in quiet mornings, in small decisions, in ordinary evenings when no one applauds you. The habits you repeat when you think they don't matter. They matter. More than you think. So before you design new goals, before you search for the perfect routine, before you promise yourself this year will be different, and ask yourself, which of these silent habits am I practicing daily? Because the year hasn't started yet. But your direction already has, and direction decides everything.